This video covers basal nuclei, limbic system and diencephalon. So basal nuclei, as we saw in the previous video, these are the masses of grey matter which are located in the white matter of cerebrum. So you can see in this diagram, the green arrow is pointing towards a small mass of grey matter which is located in the white matter. The function of basal nuclei is involved in subconscious control of skeletal muscle tone and coordination of learned movement patterns. The basal nuclei do not start a movement. That means if I decide to lift my leg up, that is not done by basal nuclei. So what is exactly providing a pattern? So once you start a walking movement, there is a typical swing of your hands and your legs that occur while walking. So that rhythm and that general pattern is controlled by basal nuclei. So the function of basal nuclei is not to start a movement but to provide a general pattern and rhythm. This pattern will go on until you give a stop order. These are some of the basal nuclei: caudate nucleus, lentiform nucleus and amygdaloid body. Limbic system is a functional group that involves olfactory cortex, basal nuclei and some tracts between the cerebrum and the diencephalon. The function of limbic system is to establish emotional states, encourage the memory storage and retrieval of the memory, initiate the drive. So drive as in it makes you do things, want to do things. So in this diagram, you can see the limbic system. I have circled the hippocampus. So hippocampus is involved with short-term and long-term memory. Emotions, as you can see here, these are some of the emotions that we experience: anger, fear, joy, disgust, sadness. And these emotions are established by limbic system. Diencephalon, which is the next part of the brain, it integrates sensory information and motor commands, and it has three components: epithalamus, thalamus and hypothalamus. In this diagram, you can see hypothalamus and thalamus, which is highlighted. You are not able to see epithalamus in this picture. Epithalamus forms the roof of the diencephalon and there are two parts. What you see in this diagram is the sagittal section of the brain, and epithalamus is located below the corpus callosum as anterior part and posterior part. Anterior part is choroid plexus, and choroid plexus secretes cerebrospinal fluid. The posterior part contains pineal gland, and this pineal gland secretes a hormone called as melatonin. So this melatonin is involved in regulation of day-night cycles. So when you have jet lag, actually it is because of disturbance of this melatonin. Thalamus is a round mass of thalamic nuclei, and their function is this is a final relay point for all the ascending sensory information. So remember, the sensory information is always going to go from the body to the brain. So it is called as ascending sensory information. But all this sensory information goes up to thalamus first, except smell. So smell is not relayed via thalamus. This diagram shows you the thalamus. The arrow is pointing towards the thalamus, which is the final relay point for all ascending sensory information. Hypothalamus is located below the thalamus. So it is hypothalamus, so below thalamus, and just above the pituitary gland. Now hypothalamus contains important control and integrative centers. Pituitary gland, we will be looking at this gland a lot in detail under endocrine system. So this diagram you can see the hypothalamus. The arrow is pointing towards the hypothalamus, and you can also see the pituitary gland. But we will cover pituitary gland in endocrine system. Functions of hypothalamus. The first is subconscious control of skeletal muscles during various emotions such as rage, pain, sexual arousal. Adjusting the activities of autonomic centers in pons and medulla. So pons and medulla we will be looking at in another video. That controls heart rate, blood pressure, breathing, digestion. Coordination of voluntary and autonomic functions. Coordination of activities of nervous system and endocrine system. That's why many books will mention this as neuroendocrine system. So they combine the nervous system and the endocrine system together. Hypothalamus also secretes hormones. Some of the behavioral drives are associated with thirst, and hunger is related to hypothalamus because the thirst center and the hunger center is located in the hypothalamus. It also has the body temperature thermoregulatory center, and that regulates the body temperature and coordination of day-night cycles activity. Thank you for watching this video.